Greg McIntyre, the Elder Law guy, here at McIntyre Elder Law in the conference room, helping seniors protect their assets and legacies. And I'm here this morning with Duncan Blount from Nabu Scholar. And Nabu Scholar is a company that Duncan's created, and he's super serious about writing your life. Has books and biographies that he creates in a short period of time, but that are very well written and a very artful way of narrating the story of your life, not just necessarily a chronological way. And Duncan and I are talking about, we serve tons of seniors on a regular and daily basis, and man, how awesome would it be? And I'm super hyped. If anybody out there knows me, swipe and share at Lawyer Greg. Swipe and share, please. Then you're going to know that I am just on cloud nine about helping seniors have a better experience, helping them preserve their assets and legacies. Part of that legacy would be, and you've seen us talk before about video legacy, things like that. But what about having a book that actually writes and describes your life? And that's what we're going to talk about for a little bit.
And you're exactly right. There's something really powerful about that physical book that's on your bookshelf, that's on that desk, that's in your family member's hands. It's real. It's not going to go anywhere. It's actually in paper. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really nicely, professionally done book, complete with pictures and it's just awesome. So I talk about legacy all the time, but I think people think I'm just talking about money. Like, oh, how can we save all the dough that you've made during your entire life? Okay, and there's a big, that's a big thing. How can you pass that down to make it benefit your family, your grandchildren, instead of just pay back some governmental pot of money or whatever, or creditor, or that cares nothing about you, but pay back for some kind of healthcare incident that's not your fault. Could you possibly send a grandchild to college, or help somebody get a better leg up in life, or save the family farm that's been in your family for your entire life?
Yeah.
And just based on current rules of law, then your family's going to lose it because you had a healthcare incident that puts you in a nursing home for 5 years.
Yeah. So
we want to prevent that. But it's not just that. It's legacies. Legacy really is, why should people have to press reset and start over every single generation? I've given a lot of thought to this, and I know you have too.
Yeah.
What better way to give the wisdom? What was it like to go through the Civil Rights Movement, World War II,
exactly,
the Vietnam War, things like that? What did you learn from that, and just all the little things day to day that you learned? I know I was in the military, and that boot camp experience. I was watching Full Metal Jacket last night, which is freaking awesome, by the way. Okay?
Yeah.
You can stay in a language, okay? And great Kubrick film, and just take me back to my boot camp days, and just what I learned by, things like that were meant to pass. They're not meant to fail. If you'll just hang in there, have the right attitude, then it's meant to get you out the other side, which is as a graduate of boot camp and on into the military, right?
That's exactly right.
And better your life, make you a better person. That's what physically, mentally, organized. If you can learn that, then if you go into it with the right attitude, that's the same way you should go into every day in life and wake up every day. So why can't I impart that experience to my kids?
Exactly.
Or my grandkids?
You said the exact word. It's the experience. And when we have an experience that's transformative through story, we can begin to pass that wisdom on. The diction that you've been using is exactly what I personally feel. It's, we can change the future by learning from the past. That's why history is so important, and that's why stories are so important. As a Christian, I think a lot about how Jesus taught, and Jesus taught through parables. He used story to get his point across. And when he was
very good at that.
He was very good at it. He
was very skilled at that, and he had mad diction as well.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And it can be hard to write, and that's one thing that I really work with my clients to understand is writing is tough. And from law to journaling, even just putting your ideas on paper is vulnerable.
For some people it is.
Yeah.
For some people it is.
Yeah.
I love writing.
Yeah, I do too.
I have zero filters. So,
Exactly.
And I do. So.
And Peter Elbow in the 70s was one of the first people to say, if you aren't good at writing, it's because of the filters. You're trained from a young age, periods, semicolons, commas, be sure to do the right way. What's the topic sentence? And the minute
What
you
about
say
the other things?
ideas on the paper.
What about the things that really make you vulnerable and revealing? Some of the best things that can teach us in life are the things we never talk about.
You get it. It's the hardships. It's the struggles. My family motto, my first name's Duncan, and the Duncan family motto is DC Pati, which means learn through suffering.
Okay.
And it's so powerful. You can succeed through suffering. You can, through the challenge, learn about yourself and learn about what you can change to become a better person.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what do you do to help draw that out of people? Because I know that's got to be something that you've really thought about and talked about in founding Nabu Scholar and in helping people write their life.
Exactly. And I've never spoken to anyone before who so quickly understood the process and the real central goal, which is create a relationship and then get to the bottom of that relationship and say, what's at the core? What were the transformational moments that made your life and directed your life to where it is now? What are those moments? And that's what I do with these books is I call it the episodic autobiography.
Okay.
It's about the little moments, the little difficult moments, the smells, sights, sounds. This is an engaging autobiography that I write. And so when I help people write their books, I say, this isn't going to be super long. This is going to be the essence of your life. This is going to be the thing that your child reads and says, wow, I kind of want to pick up a photo album now. I kind of want to start asking more questions, because every page is going to be engaging and every page is going to be about those individual stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, Duncan met me up here this morning at the office at 7 a.m. And we're talking about getting frequent with the message, getting it out there. And anybody who runs across this, swipe and share it on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you're at. Let's get Duncan some more people to get in front of so that he can help them write their life. I mean, imagine having a book like this. He doesn't charge enough. I was telling him for his services he doesn't. So it's so cheap to get it done and to do it. And I know how I guess it can be painful for a lot of people to write. I mean, look at Hemingway, right? He toiled over every word, literally, and was just an amazing writer. And imagine having someone of that, someone write your life. Maybe Hemingway.
Maybe.
But
you're right. It's that same dedication on every word, and the way I do it is through interviewing. And you asked about the questions that really get to it. I have 7 core questions, and then from that I have it's kind of like a reflex, like improv. And you know that whether it's an argument, whether it's a very tense discussion, you've got to be on your game, right to respond. I mean, responding right whenever you hear the suggestion. And so whenever I hear a story or a hint or a tidbit, it's about my response as an interviewer to capture,
draw that
and
out.
Draw it out, exactly.
Yeah.
Follow the trail to go where you feel like that transformational moment was.
Right. So instead of every person in your family starting over at square one at birth, knowing absolutely nothing, and being able to draw nothing from your life experience except for what was maybe handed down about grandma or grandpa through the years, and gets lost over time. I know it does. I mean, I've had grandparents who have passed, and you think about people less and less every day, and I'm just going to keep it real. You think about people less and less every day, and you still think of them and reflect on them every once in a while. Yeah. But I just think sometimes you forget the stories and you forget the real life lessons that those people had to offer. And how many times do you sit down with your grandkids and really have real life lessons taught?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember doing that much with my grandparents, except for my grandfather Horn, on my mom's side, who was in World War II, and I interviewed when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
Which I've since put to pictures, and it's about his experience in World War II. And you can go to mcelderlaw.com and click on the Elder Law TV tab, and see that interview. But it's, I mean, besides that, I don't remember any other time that I just got these true life lessons from my grandparents.
Yeah.
Which, how much could those help me now if I could go back and reflect on
Yeah.
it? Well, I mean, we're reading. How much do people spend reading books from gurus or trying to find a guru to tell them how to live life?
Yeah. We're always trying to find
your family.
It's, we're trying to search for this meaning of life. Why am I here? What am I doing? But our ancestors, our family, our parents have went through that, and they have so much wisdom to offer. And that's why I love Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's one of the few times of the year where you can open up, and it's okay to be at the dinner table and really pour your heart out a little bit. And that's what I love so much about telling stories, is it's opening up. It really is. One thing that I see, and I'm being very real right now too, the biggest problem I have with my business is an understanding humility. I have a whole lot of customers that are a little bit too humble. In the South, there's a word for this, and we're in Shelby, North Carolina right now. It's called the Southern Biscuit Syndrome. And it's the idea that, I don't want to talk about myself. I don't want to talk about my strengths. And that's why a lot of Southern kids, when they go to top tier schools for interviews, they don't talk about themselves very well.
It ain't bragging if it's true, right?
Yeah. Exactly. We need to understand that stories and that descriptions of our past, it's a positive thing. You are not someone that's bragging or being pompous. And I tell people, this is a small, short book with the essence of your life. This isn't bragging. This is sharing wisdom. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
On my website, nabuscholar.com, I have a blog called Healthy Humility, the Authentic Autobiography. And healthy humility is about sharing yourself without looking for attention, but rather looking for a space to change the world through your stories.
Hey, Nabu, how did you come up with that name?
Yeah, Nabu was the Babylonian person in charge of all scholarship.
Okay.
And so Nabu was in charge of all of the history of the Babylonians.
Okay.
And so for me, that
learn something every day.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a very cool idea when you have to keep history for a reason, and that reason is to pass on for the future generations the lessons of the past. And it's cyclical. I mean, the minute you start learning history and the minute I start remembering history, you just realize bad things can happen. And unless we understand it, it'll happen again. And that's the power of story.
So, and this is part of the old adage that you hear, I guess, know history or something of that effect, so that you don't so that it doesn't repeat itself or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, know the lessons of the past, so you don't repeat the mistakes, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, and just learn. So, hey, this is awesome. If people want to get in touch with you, I know they can go to nabuscholar.com. That's NABU scholar.com.
Mm-hmm.
And they can also call you.
Yeah, exactly. My number is 704-689-8725. And I love emails. That's usually how I contact with clients first. It's just a brief email, and then I send them details about what I offer. Because there's a lot of details in this. I copyright it for the client. I provide an ISBN number. So most of my clients want this for their families, to pass on to their friends and community members. One of my taglines is, write it for your friends, family, and community. And if they want to put it on Amazon.com, they can. ISBN number is right here. It goes to where the printing was, and as many people as you want can purchase it. And it's about sharing it, and I make it shareable, because that's really what stories should be about.
Can I get an ebook?
Yeah. I can make ebooks available. I haven't worked too much with that.
Yeah.
There's something about the physical, and
with the physical.
Yeah, my generation is all about, let's put it on my hard drive. But I don't know. There's just, maybe it's old-fashioned, or the fact I was an English major, so I've just loved books. But man, just flipping through pages is really what I love. So I always recommend to do for people.
Sure. I mean, I might just want an ebook too, so I can email it or something.
Yeah, that's true. It's easy to share. That's a really good point.
Share it around, man.
Yeah.
I'll put it on that. I mean, dude, I just get all kind of ideas when I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
The ebook, I don't know if you've, so for instance, like Cecil Burdens, okay? Funeral home. I can go look at the obit in the paper, printed there, a print version, or I can go look at his funeral home website. It's right there too.
Yeah.
The obit's right there. Imagine having someone's book or life story right there.
Yeah.
Linkable, clickable,
Yeah.
right on the obituary.
That's very true.
So you can put that, you can partner with, just thinking out loud, with funeral homes, especially next level funeral homes that get it, that are putting the obituaries online and want to just put a link in there to the actual book
Yeah.
of the life story.
Oh,
as well.
wow, that's
and
a
then,
great
And then
idea.
also newspapers, okay?
Mhm.
Newspapers have online editions and versions, and that's, we were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
You might could write articles for newspapers and
Yeah.
get it there.
Exactly.
But imagine in the online edition that you can actually click and read the person's entire life story, the book, right there,
Wow.
online version of the newspaper.
I mean, and that's one of my dreams. 2 years from now, Greg, I would like to be able to have a team that travels the country doing this for people and have it be popular enough that that's feasible everywhere. You see an obituary and you see a local community member, a loved one, and you click on it, and then what do you have? You have a book designed for community members.
Sure.
And so instead of a paragraph, which compared to this is very wimpy, a paragraph, instead you have a whole book that this is readable in about 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, you can grasp the ball of that person's life. The spiritual, mental, physical, what happened and how did you grow? And that's what I love about it. It's graspable.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. So go to nabuscholar.com and speak with Duncan Blount. It's Duncan Blount. It sounds like Blount, or it looks like Blount when it's spelled, but it's Duncan Blount. Okay. And here's the card. Okay. And I'll put a good scan of the card up on the website and social media too,
Absolutely.
along with the video. So thanks, Duncan,
Yeah,
for hanging out this
absolutely.
morning.
Thank you. Yeah, I love interviews. So
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. And tune in for more amazing content on mcllaw.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, obviously, @LawyerGreg. Have a great day.